I was wondering one of these days why everything necessarily has to boil down to money, like houses, clothing, heating, education, status, and sometimes positions are gotten with money and through money. And honestly, when you look at it, it seems more like the word generally is somewhat crawling back into its peasant era. Like inflation comes crazily almost every day, money loses value, and it is just a word of you get really little for giving out large or big. And that, of course, like I said, made me wonder if money necessarily this printed, generally accepted printed paper as a means of exchange has many rationality or human consideration at the best to it. So yeah, before the establishment or the emergence of this printed paper, if you will, families, societies, or villages were self-sufficient units. I know no evidence to back this up whatsoever because it sounds rather unpractical that a certain group of people were self-sufficient in terms of needs and words. But yeah, together members of each unit, okay, comes together to take care and provide for their own needs and wants, like clothing, of course, sheltering, and eating. Later, with the advancement of labor, that is the development of specialized work like farming, carpentry, tailoring, comes the need for exchange. And this they do by barter, where necessarily two individuals who has what the other needs decide to trade together. I.e., a farmer who has potatoes, okay, needs manpower. An individual in need of food, okay, offer to lend a hand, then get potatoes as reward. But then you should note, okay, there was so much complexities in the battery system because it can be tiring trying to look for who needs what you have, okay, and eventually even when you manage to find them, what if they don't have what you need? So of course a new system of exchange was developed. I wouldn't be sure if that is something that happened uniformly among, like, around the old world at large, but in Nigeria for instance, people used cowries, bottles, swords, manilas. Was it yeah, manilas, and just like a bunch of stuff. Here is what I'm driving at. Before this period of advancement to calories and stuffs, do anyone have an idea of how people shelter, since eating and clothing was some kind of like a necessity, and one way or the other they figured it out. Then progressing to middle age and modern history, do anyone have an idea how people manage to get all these things that bring them comfort, when we're not talking about food and clothing, of course? Or does it mean people never really lived comfortably? I know that's like a very silly question to ask, because obviously people lived in houses like this, and of course there wasn't so much cause for alarm, since the basics need to be met during those times does not went beyond eating, sheltering in houses like this, of course, and wearing clothes made from one of their own persons. But then comes technology, infrastructure, transportation, and the need to have only the licensed printed paper in order for any exchange to even take place. That everything, I'm not sorry to say, and everyone became unsettled. But maybe there wasn't so much tranquility during those times, but sure, there wouldn't be as much anxiety, depression, weariness, which all of this stemmed from how complex the world has grown and is continuing to grow. Cars, which made possible for a more convenient, less stressing, and further venturing mobility, unlike the medieval period where people have to cover every distance on foot or in company of some nerve-wracking, never-ending horses at the best. An advanced method of building houses, which undoubtedly makes habitation safer and conducive, was drawn forth, and the word generally was developed for the betterment of humans. Yet the question remained, was it necessary? And what difference would it make, given that the preceding way of living wasn't tampered with to begin with? Or is the evolution that brought about the old alteration inherently inevitable? The earlier view that primitive tribes lived without trade in private domestic economy must be described as incorrect. It may be said, on the contrary, that even among the lowest tribes, consisting of hunters, trappers, and collectors, barter is regularly carried on. The literature on trade in non-literate societies make clear that barter is by far the most prevalent mode of exchange. Annie Chapman proposed that barter frees individuals from social, kin, ceremonial, and even political obligations, since it's not embedded in the cultural matrix. That is to say, with barter system, individuals are rather free in their acquisition of whatever they wanted, since it is in accordance to what they can actually acquire. Does that make any sense? Like, necessarily there wasn't so much binding to how much you can want or how little you can want, because ultimately it's all boiled down to how much you can give. Necessarily there wasn't no standard set for, unlike the current state of the world, where you only get the privilege to acquire or even dream of acquiring only when you've got a certain pass, which of course is money. Struggles, working, everything brought down to endeavoring to get a hold of, if not enough, a quota of these papers sufficient to set right our needs and wants, though it is something that in fact can be printed enough to go around. But yeah, it is always a hazel, trying to get hold of even a handful of it. Do you know why countries, instead of just printing as much money as they might be needing, goes to other countries to borrow? It doesn't make any sense, but yeah. First, it is for credibility and stability. That is to say, printing more than required money erodes the confidence in a country's currency. Makes no sense. Then comes for international relation and crediting rating. Like, for what? Like, for what exactly? Why? And majorly to control inflation, which is where it makes absolutely no sense to me. Suppose a country borrows money from the other in order to control, a rise in price, since excessive availability of money leads to unnecessary need for hike in price. Let's say that is the case, and a country has to run to the other, in time of scarcity. How does it equate and filter out? In the end, suppose country A went to country B to borrow money. Now country A got back to its country. What does that money gotten from country B do? Go into what is needed to be done. Why not do it with your currency or available resources? Let's say, since what you get from other country wasn't infrastructure, not technology, not manpower, but just money in the form that it comes. I know maybe there is like a lot of things that I'm oblivious to in the whole thing. You can let me know, technology comes first, infrastructure, money itself, and all this development, which, like I said, serves for the betterment of humanity. But necessarily, would it have made any difference, given that none of this thing was brought forth? Or largely, is this some kind of inevitable progression that is bound to happen regardless, as humans live on, even when certain people did not particularly band together and try to have the world run only in accordance to their own orchestration? I'm just saying. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching my video. I'm trying to do more videos like this. I don't know how I did with that. I hope you guys like it, and please do not forget to support this channel by liking, sharing the videos with people you think might find this interesting, and subscribing necessarily. Anyways, thank you guys. I'm gonna give a shout out to Esther Fatu, and see Robert for always supporting my channel. I love you guys so much, and see you in another video. Bye.